welcome to our Conscious Leader Circle, where we meet once a month to support each other through these epic and changing times, to be more grounded, energized, and focused, and live a centered, connected, and conscious life. Today is part 2 of our amazing discussion on Shungite. And I'm really excited to welcome back the incredible Justin Martinez as our special guest speaker this week. And as I mentioned, this is part 2, where Justin will be discussing the healing powers and properties of Shungite. So very briefly, Shungite is a rare black stone or crystal composed of up to 99% carbon. Its name is derived from its primary location in the village of Shunga in Karelia, Russia. It is unique in that Shungite contains fullerenes, or 3D spherical molecules, made of 60 carbon atoms. Shungite also consists of almost all the minerals on the periodic table. Justin will expand on his presentation on Shungite from our February Conscious Leader Circle, diving deeper into the properties and healing powers of Shungite. Justin will also share how Shungite was part of his personal experience healing from septic shock, with 8 surgeries and 6 months in the hospital. Justin was given 1 in a billion, that's with a B, billion odds of survival. Through the process of surrendering, faith in the highest divine power, and a lot of support from medical teams, Justin states, "I became a warrior and a conscious leader of our time." And I love Shungite. I've had phenomenal experiences, specifically healing with Shungite, and I live with Shungite throughout my farm. I have it in my horse's drinking water. I have it in the cement floor of our barn when we renovated. I have it in my house, and I'm always learning more about Shungite. So welcome, Justin, and take it away for us.
Well, thank you, Lydia. I appreciate that. Quite the introduction. The Shungite, once you start, okay, first of all, Shungite is a black stone that does hail from Karelia, Russia. And I've got, several examples of it. And there's all different varieties available in Shungite. So depending on what an individual is looking to use it for, there's different stones that are better, have better application, right? So like for drinking water, raw nuggets are preferred, right? And raw nuggets without pyrite. So if you see any veins of pyrite running through pyrite, I don't know if you can see that, there are silver little veins. You don't want to expose that to your water. I mean, the reason being is that pyrite tends to grow in water, and over the research over the years have shown that there's been water contamination due to pyrite mining. Anyhow, so you don't want that in your water. So just be mindful when being introduced to Shungite, and it's coming to your awareness, and there's a lot of information out there, that not all the information is accurate, right? There's all all different sources and all different people just say, "Oh, I'll go on to Google and figure it out." Well, you can, but you can find out real quick that you might not be doing as much good for your body because you're exploding it to other things, other minerals other than the Shungite, right? So I wanted to that's been a topic because people structured water, although it's been around in the collective's awareness for a while, it's is trending again, right? People are starting to become aware of that. We are water. Our vessels are primarily water, and that water can be programmed. And they're searching for ways in order to do so. And the reason that I'm especially drawn to bring this up, that particular point, is because there's been individuals, and they're awesome. They have their hearts in the right spot, but I think the information that they sent out is that they're using Noble Elite Shungite for water, and you don't want to do that because it has a high pyrite concentration.
So
And
what was
you know,
the Shungite that they mentioned that they used that you don't recommend? What was the name of it?
Noble Elite,
Noble.
Elite, no, yeah, no, Noble Elite. It's more of a shiny.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, no, that has a higher pyrite concentration. And what happens is not only does pyrite can it grow in water, it it tends to become the pyrite or the shungite becomes brittle with that higher concentration of pyrite, right? So little shards will break off in the water, and this you don't want that. You know, you don't want to be, yeah, especially if it's primarily the flakes that are coming off are pyrite. So
that's
I
right.
wanted to cover that. Like I said, I want to cover that so that way because it's in the awareness of the collective
That's
and
really huge. It's really important information because so many people ask me, how do I know, what is good shungite? How do I know which shungite to apply for what?
yes,
And so this is really helpful, Justin. And also on a personal question about that, when I got my package, my starter package from is it Shungite Reality, Cosmic Reality store?
probably cosmic reality or yeah, cosmic reality.
With the raw nuggets. And so I've been using them in the drinking water for my cats,
Yep.
and in little burlap bags, so you can find them in my horse's
Yeah,
drinking water. But I also got the balls.
yeah,
Um, and I just assumed the balls were the same as the nuggets. Is that true?
yeah, correct. Now, are you talking about the beads or bigger balls?
The balls that are like, I don't know if you can see them, like about that big.
Yeah.
They- They're
Okay.
like little balls that I not beads, but they're like a ball. They look
A
like
sphere,
rocks
like a sphere,
in a
like a sphere.
yeah, and I put them in my, if I remember, sometimes I go months without it, but after I make my kukicha tea, then I put them when it's warm. I put one in my pot that lasts the week. So is that the same as the raw nugget?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
concerned.
Right. Yeah. No. If you source them from mystical wares, or yes, is the same, or cosmic reality. Yeah. Um,
Those are the two names, everyone listening, that are highly reputable. The
yeah.
Cosmic Reality and Mystical Wares. And I have the Mystical Wares. Justin sent me the link to Mystical Wares in the chat, and with the science studies as well, which we'll get to. But while we're on the topic, Justin, can you share with everyone listening and watching the two websites, if you can spell them out for us?
Yes. Well, I access them from Facebook,
Mystical
but
Wares, right?
mystical, yeah, mystical wares, MYSTICALWARES.com. Just go mysticalwares.com,
Perfect.
and that will link you to the retail store and virtual store. And anything that they sell inside, you can buy outside. You know, on the net, they're very, very um, gifted. So I can say about filling orders, it's a business, right? But they're good people. It's um, the owners of the company, Mystical Wares, also are the co-creators of the Shungite reality book with Nancy Hopkins, and who started Cosmic Reality radio channel. And so it's kind of an interesting story, as a matter of fact. And Derek became my friend as a result of the story, like a combination of the Shungite and the story behind it. He had a background in the military, and then for I want to say after his military duties, he became a correctional officer at the prison, right? Like a outside perimeter guard, right? And he had to make his rounds on and he did that for 17 years or something to that effect. And he was also highly tuned metaphysical type person, sees energy, and is trying to figure it out, right? And they, they had him assigned to prison duty, so to speak, because he could see things. Anyhow, with that being said, he was drawn to Shungite because he became a beekeeper, right? And or he was a beekeeper, and he was drawn to the research behind the Shungite and what it was doing with water and what it was doing with the soil remediation, what it was doing, potential to. He was focused on the bees, right? So he's like, back in 2016, 2017, there were big colony collapses happening in the bee population around the world. So it was like really alarming. And so, he had Shungite on his mind, bees on his mind, and he, put the two together and started doing some research with using Shungite on beehives since he was a beekeeper. And he found that adding 3 little nuggets, and he videotaped this. All this is all documented. It's beautiful, and he's got a little book about it. And yeah, that the bees, when he set up the video camera to watch the bees enter the hive, before before the bees would go into the hive, they'd dance around the Shungite nuggets, rub their back legs on the Shungite, right, and then enter the hive. And it was just like, they all did it, right? And within a month's time, those 3 little nuggets turned into dust. There was no nuggets there. They had to replace the nuggets. So that just means that the bees loved the honey, or that loved the Shungite. And the what they found is that due to the high concentrations of EMF radiation, the cell phone towers, the communication, the spectrum that they're running, communication, the communication network is microwave, microwave frequency. So it's not very beneficial, not only for the bees, but, bees, us, right? And so Shungite was able to provide an extra layer of protection against the EMF, right? The harmful effects of the communication devices. And when the colonies of the bees were collapsing, his were growing tremendously, so much so that he was having to release them in the wild up into the hills of the Cascade Range. And so let them go, because they were healthy. It was healthy bee releases. And so as a result of that work, the owner of the author of Shungite Reality asked Derek, I need some help, right? If we don't, if you don't, because the way I look at it, Shungite came into our awareness to help us help people of the planet. If we don't take care of the planet, we don't take care of the water, we don't take care of the bees, what are we working for? Literally, right? Everything collapses. So after Harry, she gave the pitch to him and had that conversation, and he went home that night. And the way I hear the stories told is that he called her the next day and said, "Okay, I'm in," and he retired from the prison duty, so to speak, and went full time into Shungite. And so when I hear a story like that, and I know the individual, on a personal level, right? I know that I'm with good people that know what they're talking about, right? And that's the type of individuals that I want to, that I'm drawn close to. And so Derek and I, have had a really special relationship all through, because of Shungite, right? And he's a good teacher. So the information that I've sent links, over the last two episodes, or yeah, this episode and last one, are straight to the studies and findings that he's compiled, right? And not just his research; these are research from all over the world compiled in, and he's just taken the time to extract the vital information and categorize it and say, here's some studies that prove, because Shungite is so vast of what the healing properties are, so wide, the range is so wide that it can help in all categories of really one's life, or help with water. It can help with blocking EMF radiation. They found, there's studies that show that the C60 energy that is exuded off of the rock, because it's this rock, okay, the Shungite, it never needs to be cleaned. You don't have to go stick in the sunshine. It doesn't have to be, saltwater baths. It doesn't need that. It's constantly moving energy in solid form. Okay. And as that C60 energy that is emitted off of the rock, off of the Shungite itself, what it does is it borrows the nearest oxygen molecule that's around us, air we breathe, or anything that's coming up. It just borrows the oxygen molecule, and through that process of the energy flowing, having Shungite near you, right, means energy's flowing near you. Through that process, what happens is, if it's close to your skin, it also, that energy can penetrate through your skin. I think it's up to 3 inches. So the benefits are that it's a powerful antioxidant, right? Because it's constantly moving energy. So studies have proven that it is. For me on a personal level, knowing this and knowing that all the work that I had done this last year, I've taken an extra step in creating just simple, because I know everything. Well, I don't know everything that was put inside me, right? When you're in the hospital for 6 months, a lot of stuff, but I know that it was important to me to flush the heavy metals out, right? That's like a thing. And then also because I was left with severe scarring throughout my body, it was important to me to try to apply simple ingredient. I mixed Shungite, silver saturated Shungite fine powder, right? You can get a little baggie for, I don't know, $25-$30. It's not that much, but a little goes a long way. So you just need a match head amount of scoop, okay? And I mix it with organic coconut, raw coconut, right? Mix that up, and I'm able to lather that on my wounds, right? On my body, so I got to keep the energy moving. You might notice that just that little added bit of organic oil also helped with my skin not becoming all crinkly and dry. So yeah, now you can extrapolate on that. You can use, if you're as many are starting to recognize that they don't always put the good stuff in this, in the makeups or lotions, or there's a lot of petroleum based products. So people are becoming aware of that, and they're energy sensitive individuals. They are recognizing that, well, I want to know what I'm putting on my body, right? And so you can use, there's different methods, you can use a organic oil, jojoba oil, or something that um, beeswax, as a binder, right? Because it'll last forever. You don't need a lot of it. You just a little bit of sprinkle, and then you can put it on your body. Anyhow, those are just some like little tips, and that's what I do as part of my lifestyle. It's like I always have it around me. It's my body's reacts really well to it. And I know that I'm getting that added antioxidant, running throughout my body, right? Bottoms of my feet, my feet have, well, our feet have 240,000 little meridian points, right? Or like nerve endings that go there. And so I've learned to use powder, sprinkle a little powder in the shoes, bottom of your shoes, right? And so if you don't necessarily have the opportunity to go ground yourself bare feet on the ground and get dirty like we're supposed to, it's a good way to keep the energy moving, so that when you are able to, it probably doesn't take as long. And even if it does, big deal, you're outside grounding, right? So there's little tricks that I've learned that's been very beneficial. And of course, coming from a space that I'm not really marketing anything. I don't have a product care line or product line that I'm marketing. I'm just using, from personal experience, this is what I'm doing. There are others that's how they, make they sell all kinds of products, and Mystical Wares is one of those places that you can find it. If those that are choosing to do so, yeah, the website's there. I'm just saying that it's a good resource. Use it, right? It's trusted. What else? It's the subject of Shungite is so deep that it's hard to stay on topic because it can go literally in any direction. Anybody that has had the opportunity to listen to a Shungite reality podcast, you'll hear, it starts in one over here and it ends up way over there because everything's connected. And so, our conversation here, I can go on. I almost need guardrails because once you start jumping down the rabbit hole, I mean, you can extrapolate and go on forever, right? So I'll just tell you some things that are dear to my heart. Knowing that Shungite is a powerful healer. The warrior side of me wants to fix the planet, right? And I one of the projects that Derek started was the Shungite grid, creating a Shungite grid. And he, or I believe he created it. Anyhow, you can find the Shungite grid if you look it up on Facebook or Google. It'll pull up a Google Maps, and you'll find that there's all these little markers around the planet where people have dropped their Shungite nuggets to create and to create a grid, right? A worldwide grid of Shungite users. And so there's a large community that use I won't say underground technology. It's really they're using energy tools, orgonite devices. They're making the orgonite devices. They're trying to combat the the negative effects of some of the technologies that are being used for communication. It's the less it's a better way. I mean, there's some guys over in you know, it, depending on what country you're from, they're tearing down the towers, right? Because what they're seeing, what people are, what they see, what's in their awareness is birds, dying, right? And if their birds are dying right around them, then what's it doing to us, right? And so, um, my I got called, kind of guided that there's another way other than be destructive. Why not armor ourselves with this, and knowing that Shungite has the ability to block, or I won't say block, it transmutes negative energy and switches the rotation instead of a counterclockwise rotation where it's extracting from you, right? It puts a positive spin on the energy, right? Now that's let's call it dirty electricity, the radiation that comes off of out of the I don't care any smart meter home, any lines. What we've found is that the electricity that is running through the cables, they don't run just through the wire. It actually goes on the, electricity is interesting because it takes the path of least resistance. Anyhow, long and short of it is it the way it's processed is flowing at a unnatural state, right, in a counterclockwise rotation. And what Shungite does, is magic, whatever. It has the ability to attenuate that energy and change it from that negative counter-rotating spin, flips around to the positive. So then it becomes beneficial energy, right? So I think if you liken that to also the radiation that comes off of the EMF, like electromagnetic frequency that comes off the Wi-Fi's, the cell phones, the smart meters, cell phone towers, you can do the same thing without being destructive, right? And you can do it in a mindful way. And it doesn't just benefit me, it benefits everybody that comes in contact with that, right? That energy. So the Shungite grid allows individuals to be mindful about placing the stones wherever they choose to place them, and then putting a marker on the map showing that it's been done, right? And I found, some of my adventures, I took, I was gifted big, I don't know, big Shungite rocks, right? And the summer of 22, I spent on a fishing vessel up in Alaska. And so I literally brought Shungite from the Aleutian Islands to Prince William Sound, the waterways, and then the towns. And I just mindfully threw the nuggets out, right? Because I knew it's going to do its job. And anyhow, so, and I was able to add it to the Shungite grid because I noticed that it hadn't been on that. Anybody that had, if they had Shungite, they weren't aware of the grid. So I just make sure I marked it, where I travel. And then when I went to Kauai, I did the same thing and put Shungite on the map in Kauai. And also, of course, everywhere I travel, kind of weird that way because I carry a bag of it because it, or several bags in a backpack. First of all, it makes for a great gift. If you encounter individuals that they were just strangers, and you can tell that they, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a great thing to do. Yeah, it makes for a good gift because you're giving something that is, it can be like a life changer, right? Lifestyle changer. And also, if you get called to, you know, um, see something that, say, when you start talking, there's metaphysical characteristics associated with Shungite that someone who's sensitive metaphysically, right? Sometimes they're intuitively guided to take a right or take a left, or they see a little flash and they, oh, something comes into awareness. And they get guided to, look, that's just the way it works, right? And so, same thing with Shungite. If someone has a closer, they're more energy sensitive, they'll get guided to place the stones, right? And that's probably what you found, where the nuggets are going to go where they choose to go, and you just kind of go and put them. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, when I was leaving and moving from our family farm outside of Toronto, I had Shungite in different locations, and literally, like whenever I tried to remove the Shungite to bring with me, it almost like jumped out of my hand. I remember once I was like moving Shungite, and somehow it fell between the boards of the barn or something. So I knew that the frequency of the land needed the
Right.
Shungite, and I'd had dreams telling me about some of the complex challenges, you might say, with what happened to that land. And so by the time I did my big move of the horses and the farm stuff, everything, all the Shungite stayed there. So that'll be on the grid. That'll be on the grid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
It's a beautiful thing.
yeah, so for the people who were coming after us, they would have this benefit forever of the Shungite, and not knowing that it fell between the barn boards, right? Or that it's under the fences or something like that. So you just go with the flow. You're guided, as you're saying, to share it, or the Shungite wants to be where it wants to be, right? And it is magnificent. It's a magnificent gift to humanity, the planet, all of life. I always put a little nugget in my cat's drinking water, the indoor and outdoor cats. And, when it's a subtle energy, we don't always, it's like with Reiki or photon lights or anything, you don't know what you're preventing, right? Because your life is a higher quality life, but you really feel it when you are recovering. And of course, Justin went through that with his own incredible recovery story, which he spoke about in the first episode. So yeah, I don't know the different types of Shungite. I have a Shungite sticker that comes. They have in the introduction pack, they have stickers that you put on your phone. And Justin was saying that or on your laptop or whatever. He was saying that in the first episode, it does, you don't need, like, bigger isn't better, if I remember correctly, with Shungite. So you can have just a little bit of Shungite powder in one of those stickers, and it lasts forever on your phone. So I can't really function too well without Shungite, being on the internet a lot and on the phone a lot. I really feel it if I don't have Shungite. But yeah, there's so many wonderful applications. So yeah, go to mysticalwares.com. I think that's where most of the information will be available.
Okay, thank you very much, Lidia.
You're welcome. So shall we, Richard, do a guided meditation for 5 minutes, and 5 or 7 minutes, and I'll share Reiki. And just before we start, I'm going to double check to see if Justin can come back on. Let me just see. No, maybe his whole internet went down because he's not replying on Messenger and WhatsApp, but that's okay. He shared phenomenal information. Okay, so let's all take a nice deep breath and imagine yourself in a beautiful place, in perfect health in every way, and that infinite river of gold and white light coming in, healing every cell in your body. Richard?
Yeah, just had a profound last 5 minutes or so. To begin to realize who we really are and what is really real, and basically to give love and joy a chance to focus into this infinite treasure chest, that is within us. And in another sense, the whole universe of our experience is within us. We've been told that there's an inner world where we live inside our body and an outer world of so-called physicality, and that's not reality at all. We're letting in the superior science, which is founded on ecstasy. And the word ecstasy literally means to stand outside. And so to stand outside that which comes and goes and comes and goes and comes and goes into that which is solid, infinitely beautiful, always available, and our own essence is not something we have, it's something we are. And so to go into that place of unlimited joy and just even getting a little taste of it, just even turning a little bit, begins to create the momentum of receiving. And when we receive, we automatically give. And when we allow it to come through us, we disentangle from the world. So we sidestep all the karma and we become this fountain of abundance just by receiving. Receiving reality. The reality, as the Sanskrit word Sat Chit Anand. Anand is bliss, ecstasy. Chit is your consciousness before it forms into a thought, an emotion, a desire, a sensation, the five senses. Before it becomes any of those things, it is already bliss. Before you do anything in this world, before you think a thought, you are already this ocean of pure fulfillment. And the instant we begin to hand everything over and let this infinitely merciful being take care of things and give us bliss guidance, which guides our intellect to make the right decisions, guides our body to move beautifully in the spirit like dancing, guides us to allow heaven to come to earth. And so we allow that, even if it's just little drips, we allow as much as we're willing to receive. We allow ourselves to be immersed in that which is already perfect, already fulfilling, already full of integrity beyond any words or philosophies. We allow ourselves simply to experience our connection to perfection. And we allow ourselves to receive this gift. And the more we get fulfilled from it, the more we disentangle from the world, because we're not seeking fulfillment from the world. We're bringing fulfillment to the world. When Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father, we become emanations of the perfection without having to do anything but feel it, receive it, and let it fill our intellect, let it fill our bodies, let it fill our feeling nature, let it purify our desires, so we desire only what love wants. And so our job is to celebrate it, to allow it, to reach for it, to reach for this infinite abundance, to simply open our hands and disentangle from any blame or judgment and let ourselves be totally nourished now with gratitude.
Well, thank you, Richard. We'll take a nice deep breath and just allow that flow of infinite energy to keep moving through us. And as Richard was saying, the momentum of receiving. And that is so powerful and beautiful and full of ease. We don't have to have the struggle to feel that deep connection and to live in that flow. I thank you, Richard.
Pleasure.
And Justin, welcome back.
There is a tapping in of energies that are ancient and some that are futuristic. You know, what we perceive as futuristic, but they're actually just in a different dimension, right? And they're coming into.
Yeah, we're recognizing that we're multidimensional in every moment.
Yes, yes. And some are just more in tune to that, you know, than others, right? And so anyway.
Experiences like that where, let's say, I'd fall asleep. I've had a lot of stuff come to me in dreams or altered states, right? Where I fall asleep and then, or I'm sleeping, then let's say you get woken up and you have to go to the washroom at 7 or 5 in the morning or whatever, whenever it's too early for you. And then you go back to sleep. And in that 5 minutes of sleep after you've woken up, that's when I often have multidimensional experiences. Like I've fallen asleep and then moved through my house exactly as it was, like with, you know, the boxes and the papers and everything, but met multidimensional beings in that 5 minutes of sleep. And I find that often happens. Like I have dreams all the time, but sometimes when I have to wake up or I get woken up or there's a bird singing outside or something, and then I fall back asleep, that's when it becomes a clear multidimensional experience in my sleep state, right? And it's pretty neat. Like that's a whole other thing. But Teresa had a question for you. And
absolutely, fire away.
Yeah. So Teresa, I'll let Teresa ask, but Teresa is dealing with a chronic back pain injury and was interested in knowing what is the best type of Shungite. Teresa, did you want to expand on that?
No, you did an excellent job. That's exactly what I would like to know. Thank you.
So I shared with Teresa, I just put my Shungite nuggets on my cast when I had my arm injury and I could feel the electrical current going through, but you would know more than I.
Yeah. If you go to that mysticalwares.com link, Derek has created a Shungite pad. It's like a mouse pad, you know, think of it as floppy like a mouse pad, right? So it's malleable, it's easy to put on, yeah. And he makes it out of a I think it's a latex. No. It's a material that's flexible, that you can wrap, you know, put it under your garment or whatever, on your chair or your back or your legs. You know, for me, he gave me a big long. It's about 5 inches wide, 4 or 5 inches wide and a foot long. Right, so you can cover a lot of ground with it, or cut it into sections and place it wherever you want it. Right, so a little goes a long ways, and I think that you'd find that highly beneficial because if you are trying to target a specific area, you know, in your back, it would probably be more comfortable to do that than to put rocks back there. That's, I know, speaking from, you know, personal experience, because, you know, I was I'm still, you know, in the process of and currently dealing with, you know, both of my legs, I had, you know, from my groin to my knees, right, on both sides opened up, and vascular work was done. So that, and then all the way up from my groin up to my chest, butterflied open. And so all that was worked on, right? And having to be mindful about the weight, that what's sitting on it, what's comfortable, you know, and Derek gifted me one of those, and it was so beneficial because I can place it anywhere, and the surface is non-stick, right? So I didn't have to worry about it falling off, right? It was stay in place. That's what I'd say. And then it's easily cleanable. Just rinse it under water. You don't need to soap. Use soap. You just rinse it off. And if you want to use soap, you can. It's not recommended, but you can. Just rinse it off with water in your fingers, and then set it to dry. Now, the reason that I say that is not only can you use it for your physical vessel, it makes for a great charging station to put your water cups on, water glasses, right? Your jewelry, right? Your crystals. So because it's moving energy and it never has to be recharged, you don't have to stick it under the moonlight, you don't have to bury it in dirt or anything like that. So if you have one of the beneficial properties of the Shungite is you can put it near your crystals and it'll clear them, right? It moves energy. So it makes for a good charging station, not only for your physical vessel, but for your armor. So does that make sense?
Teresa?
Yes, thank you so much. That's really wonderful. I will go on the website. Thank you for sharing all that. Wow.
I like to think, how can I utilize this in a, they encourage, figure out new uses for this stuff, because we're just scratching the surface. And I like to be able to come up with ways that I know and I can see that are beneficial, and that's one of them. And so for the investment, the cost of the investment, it covers a lot. It has a wide range of uses, right? Other than just, it's my back pad. Hey, it's my back pad, charging station, water structuring device. If you because the energy exudes, transfers energy 3 inches into the skin. Water, it travels further in water. Okay, the energy. So if you say you're making a tea, and you want to set your tea on that silver, he uses the cosmic silver powder in the making of those pads. So let's just say it's super duper charged, and the energy that's being exuded from the pad will go a long ways. That's the key there.
That is phenomenal. I'm so excited about learning about this. And as you were saying, there's more and more information becoming available to us, both through knowledge and through tools for application. So this has been really incredible. Thank you so much, Justin.
My pleasure. You end up releasing it at the proper time.
Well, that's exactly
right?
what happens. That's exactly what happens, right? And I found that that's a beautiful teaching, because I found in my life when I get frustrated because things are months or years overdue, and I've done my best. It's not like I procrastinated and had nothing else to do. I had other priorities that came up. And
Right.
I always joke that there's only 38 hours in a day, right? There's only I can only do so much, right? In the in the flow of the physical realm. But when I get back to stuff that I was frustrated, that was delayed, whatever it is, it ended up being, like you said, the perfect timing. It's
Yes.
so amazing. It is so amazing. And that's when we just learn to let go. We let go and let live. And as long as we're committed and we stay focused and grounded and energized and on track and centered, connected, and conscious, then sometimes delays are the best thing that happens for us, right?
Absolutely. Well, I find myself circling around, and not because I'm searching for it. It's time. Like, oh, I remember that. I remember that was something that I was going to look into, or
Yeah.
it brought been brought into my awareness, but now's the time that it's like ready to start applying it.
100%,
Yeah.
Justin. And one day I'd love for you to come up to our sanctuary farm, our retreat center, maybe host a retreat or something. And
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd be honored.
have Shungite and all sorts of healers and healing modalities, maybe like a summer retreat. And it would be amazing. I'd love to meet you in person.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the offer and the opportunity. I haven't thought of it actually in that vein, but yes, that I'm open for the allowance of all possibilities to happen, right?
I love that. I love that
Yeah.
mantra. I'm open for the allowance of all possibilities to happen. That is magnificent, Justin, and a perfect way to end.